So we have now taken off the cover of the electrical panel, and this is what it looks like from the inside. This is where we have switched it off, and if we check beyond below here, we should have 400 volts here, but all up here is dead. There's no voltage up there now, and we've isolated it, but just be careful and know that you have voltage here, and we have to measure it with our voltmeter to make sure that this is dead before we start to work on it. So here is our voltmeter. We've set it on the dial on volt on DC voltage, on AC voltage. So the dial is on AC voltage, and we measure voltage here because there should not be any reading when we measure here. It says 0 volt. 0 volt. You measure here, it says 0 volt. So you see we are measuring it above the switch. So there's 0 volt everywhere here. But I know, just be careful. Remember that we have voltage under here. You can see we have 416 volts. And you can see we have 416 volts between two phases. And between phase and neutral, we should have 230 volts or thereabout. And this is what we have, 240 volts between phase and neutral. So you know that here we have, it's live here, and then but now you have to be careful. This is the only cable, this 3 cables has voltage, and don't touch here, and you can work any other place in this panel. So first thing I did was to drill a hole where I can put my gland. So in order to drill this hole, first of all, you have to know the dimension of the gland. You can measure with a caliper, the digital caliper. And I measured this one, it was 25. So in order to drill that hole for this one, I used the ordinary drill bit of 3 mil, like this one. I used this one to drill a hole, and then I used a 25 mil this one to drill another hole to bore the hole. Then I filed it so that it's not sharp, and then I put in this cable, and this is a cable that I've just installed. That's the cable we're gonna take to our control panel over in the factory, and this is the MCB that's gonna control the whole thing. So this is a 63 amp MCB. I'm thinking that it's a bit low, and I might have to change it in the next few days. So this is what I've connected. In order to do this, connect this, you just have to, this is a similar one. All you do is to loosen it through this nut, and then you slide it in here. Make sure that you have 3 here, because this is L3, L2, L1. So you slide it in there. Once you loosen it, you should be able to slide it easy. So you might have to loosen it, and then if you loosen it, then you can slide it in easy. It needs to be loosened a little bit more. So you slide it in like that, and you tighten it. After you've tightened it, it's not yet live until you slide these ones. See these ones, you can slide them. When you slide them on it, you slide them, and that is when it establishes connection, you know. So, and then this is where you bring in your cables. You bring in your cables here these are for the 3 phases. Here we have for the earth. So this is from where you take earth for your installation. And in order to connect the neutral bar is here. So you have to take off this cover. If you take off this cover, and then when you take off this cover, you have another bar like this one where you install your neutral. So when you take off this nut and this nut, you lift this plastic up, and then you can be able to install your neutral. And that's it. And then you cover it. First, after you've covered it, you can test it to make sure that Now we have to go into the factory to see where it leads to. To see where it leads to, where we've connected to look at the main panel where we've connected the control panel, which we fed from here. Okay, I've now replaced the cover. I put the nuts back in. I need to put the missing plastic here to cover the area, and this is the cable that we're using for our project. So we can see how we've run the cable from here. We've made a hole. I made a hole somewhere there, and then I took it into the factory from that hole. I'm going to show you the hole and the cable from the other side of the factory.